people are wondering why it takes them 10 minutes to think about the answer to that question. They're like, their eyes are open without anything behind it. And it's because they're poisoned. Not to mention, on top of that, you then have the control of information. And the control of information is one of the last strands in the equation, because now we're dumbing people down. All these people don't know what to do. And then we're telling them, hey, we're the experts, do this. Everybody's going to listen, because when the average American, at least, has 3 jobs, the average American is divorced after getting married. The average American has, let's say 1, 2, 3 kids, and they need to support those kids. All they have to think about is, where is my next paycheck coming from?
Yeah, you better. It's your markers, I want this. Everybody in this, what should have it? Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Yeah, you better. Check the time to recognize it. And believe me, even if you tried it. You're the artist, and the medicine. Happily be found the new in your hands.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Unlimited with Elisabeth Carson. Today I have a very special guest, so knowledgeable, just so connected, Jason Shurka. I'm so honored to have you here with me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Jason. Okay, so we're going to dive right in, because right before this, you were telling me about how you were on a 21-day fast, which blows my mind. Because even a day, 2 days, 3 days, it's very hard for me. So how are you feeling, and what day are you on? And
So I'm feeling great. I'm on day 15 right now. But I will say one thing to what you just said. The first 3 days are the hardest. Sometimes it could be the first 5 days. So if you get past that 5-day mark, then, you're just not hungry anymore. And the only thing that I miss is chewing on something. Although I did get Invisalign because I wanted to straighten my teeth a little bit. So, I'm like biting on the thing on my teeth a little bit, which gives me that feeling. And it also helped me stop biting my nails, because I can't bite it with the Invisalign. So it's like a cleanse on all fronts. And it was very, very needed. Last time I did this was 7-8 years ago, and it's pretty awesome.
You did this before, a full 21-day fast?
Yeah, I did 30 days about 8 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So let's get spiritual. What has happened to you? What type of spiritual, profound messages? I know that when I've fasted before, I just become so clear. So I know after all of those days, like craziness probably.
Oh yeah. So that's part of the reasons why I did it. I did it for 2 reasons. And I want to start there just to allow people to understand what the real purpose and intention was for all of this in the first place. So basically in March, unfortunately, my father passed away.
I'm so sorry.
And it was out of nowhere, and nobody expected it. He was super young. He was like 62. And that, on top of a million other things that I was just dealing with at the same time in my life, it caused a lot of stress. And I realized a lot about myself throughout this time, because sometimes when people go through stress, it's either you don't eat at all because you don't have an appetite and you lose all this weight, or in my case, I eat a lot because it was like my comfort food. So I wasn't necessarily eating bad food. I was just eating quantities that a human should not eat. It was a lot. So since March, because of everything that happened with my so-called like coping mechanism of stress with a lot of eating, I started gaining a little bit of weight. Now, nothing crazy. I'm 6 feet tall. I went to 215, 216 pounds, which for me is a lot. And that, coupled with everything else that was going on the emotional and spiritual level, I felt a lot of blockages within myself. And I knew how I felt 8 years ago when I did this for 30 days. And I kept telling myself, I said, Jason, when everything calms down, then you'll do this fast. And one day I had this epiphany, and it's something that I knew, but it's something that I forgot. And that epiphany was, you don't clean up once you clean up the external. You don't then clean up the internal. For the external to clean up, you need to first clean the internal. And that's exactly why I chose to do the fast first. And I'll tell you, over the past 15 days, my life has changed drastically in the external way that things were actually organizing themselves, because my body is cleansing, but my being is cleansing. So There are times where I get super angry and super pissed off. And I know that during this fast. And I know that it's because I'm letting something go. So I let it happen. I told my fiance, just, don't be mad at me if I scream at you. It's because I'm going through things.
Yeah.
And she's super cool about it and supportive. But spiritually speaking, my dreams are clear. My mind is clear. My eyes, brain is clear. And I just feel a lot more connected and in tune with myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. So at this point, are you craving food? Like, no. Wow.
Like, I think I might extend. I mean, there's no hunger. There's no hunger. And when there comes hunger, if and when that time comes, that's when you start eating, right? Because some people say, I'm going to do it for 7 days. But if on the 7th day you're not hungry, why are you going to eat? Let your body go through what it needs to go through. Yeah. And your body will tell you when it wants to start eating again.
Wow. So you said after the first 3 days, then it gets easier?
Generally. Yeah. For me this time around, it was 5 days.
5 days. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know that you have so much more time in your day too, because think about it, how the time that we spend eating, going to get food, cooking the food, and then digesting after you're tired, and then you're just like, after you eat. So I know the time in your days have really grown, right?
There's two things. With your digestion, scientifically speaking, about 70 to 90% of your digestion, or 70 to 90% of your energy goes towards digestion. Yeah. So if you're not digesting for a period of time, that's 70 to 90% of energy that your body now has as a surplus to start healing itself. That's on the energetic aspect of it. On the timing aspect of it, I mean, how much time do you spend eating throughout the day? If you're going to restaurants, it's still going to be 3 to 4 hours, 3.5 hours. If you're cooking, it's going to be 2 to 3 hours, depending on what you're eating. If you factor in everything from opening the fridge to cutting, to cooking, to cleaning, to doing all those things. I'm not just talking about the eating part.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have 3 to 4 days extra in my day that in and of itself is maybe 8 hours. So I just increased my amount of time per day that I have to be productive by 100%.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
It's crazy. So have you been able to get a lot more done? I mean, I know you're doing a lot. I mean, can you share with my listeners of like what all projects you have and everything you have going on?
There's a lot. There's a lot. So Unified Healing is a network of wellness centers. It's a very, very big project, and it takes a lot of time and energy because I don't see it as like just an operation that you do. It's really a mission. There's a lot of people that put a lot on the line to open wellness centers, and they're counting on you to help them. So I would say that's one of the biggest projects. Then we have Unified TV, which is a conscious streaming platform, if you will. That's also a very big project with tens of thousands of users per month that are using that and have memberships. And now probably the one that I'm most excited about is Light System. So Light System is an incredible technology, this one right here. And it's just phenomenal in terms of what it's doing. My goal, although I'm not a part of the business in any way, I like raising awareness for things like that. So I'm more so the voluntary spokesperson for this technology, and it's pretty incredible seeing, how many people are benefiting from that. As a matter of fact, my dog is in the hospital right now for reasons we could speak about if you'd like, but when she comes out of the hospital from what she's dealing with, we're going to be putting her around this technology so she could sleep around it for as long as she needs to heal completely. And I look forward to sharing that story with everybody as well.
Yes, yes. Can you dive into what the Light System is? Is it photobiomodulation or is it something different? Can you go into what exactly it is?
Yeah. So it's multiple modalities and techniques stacked on top of one another, none of which are new or original. Meaning, if you were to ask the inventor, his name is Robert Religa. If you were to ask the inventor, Robert Religa, what is this technology? The first thing he's going to tell you is, first and foremost, this is not new. This is 4,000 years old. He just took what is thousands of years old and built it into a more modern way of using technology, in this case, computers. So he's a computer programmer. That's what he does. That's his passion, coupled with spirituality. And his intention was never to focus on, healing physically. That's not what his life is about.
Mhm.
His life was more so focused on, he's this programmer and he also loves meditation, but he didn't like the amount of effort that you needed to put in to dive into and expand on TM, transcendental meditation.
Yeah.
So he wanted to create a technology using the foundations and the fundamentals of TM, transcendental meditation, and using his understanding of computer programming, build it into a software. And that's what the light system is. So on one hand, multiple different modalities stacked on top of each other. On one hand, you have simple color therapy, biophotonic therapy. So think red light therapy, but more expanded, full spectrum light therapy, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, so on and so forth. So you have your full spectrum. Each organ in the body has an optimal frequency that it operates on. So your heart has a different optimal frequency than the brain. The brain has a different optimal frequency than the liver, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And colors measured in nanometers can be converted into different frequencies. So that's where color therapy comes in.
Gotcha. I remember, so I have sat next to one of these for quite a long time. And I just remember feeling very connected to myself, more so than normal. And I remember my workflow. So I was so focused as it was sitting next to me. Like, I don't know, my focus just got sharper and clearer. So
Yep.
Can you explain, how did that happen? Like, was it waves that were hitting me? I mean, I wasn't even seeing the colors, it was
Yep.
just, it's like behind me. So
that will bring us to another stack of what the technology is doing, which is very simple, but very interesting. So Dr. Masaru Emoto, yes?
Yeah. Yes.
So for anybody who doesn't know him, Dr. Masaru Emoto, Japanese scientist, no longer alive with us in physical form today. But in the 90s, he had this hypothesis. And his hypothesis was, is it possible for my words, my emotions, my thoughts, my beliefs to impact my environment around me? And everybody looked at him and they said, Doctor, you're crazy. You can't do something like that. If you're going to impact your environment around you got to touch it. And he said, well, you might be right and you might be wrong. Let's do a test and let's see. What he did, and I'll simplify this. He took 2 glasses of water, controlled water, same water.
Yes.
And in this glass of water, he did a lot of negative or bad things to it. So he said, I hate you and you're ugly and, all these bad things. And in this cup of water, he did the opposite. He said, I love you and I forgive you and you're beautiful and so on and so forth. So we'll call this cup the bad cup and this cup the good cup. Same water, different emotions, affirmations, and intentionality expressed towards each. He then took the water and he froze both cups with the water in it. And he looked at each glass of water under a molecular microscope. He wanted to see if the molecular formation of water in each glass changes based off of how you speak, feel, or think towards it. And everyone still said, Doctor, you're crazy. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
But what he found was insane. He found that every single time he had negative intentionalities towards the water, it would create a distorted molecular formation of water. And every single time he had a positive intentionality towards water, it created a coherent and structured formation of water, molecular formation, almost like a snowflake.
Yeah.
Now, why is that important? Because we as human beings are made up of over 70% water. And we as human beings made up of over 70% water are electrical beings. So electricity and energy moves through those pathways of water. And if that water has a distorted structure, well, guess what? Energy doesn't move. It gets stuck. That's what a dis-ease is. That's what people call disease.
Yeah.
But if you have coherent, structured formations of water, pathways of water, then the electricity and the energy moves in a much more coherent and flawless way, effortless way. That's called ease, otherwise known as health. So we could talk about health on the level of physical health, like, cancer, heart disease, all the way to more emotional things and mental things like bipolar and schizophrenia and anxiety and depression, all the way to why you are more productive. When you have more flow in your body, things move faster. You think faster, you move faster, you operate in a more efficient way. And that's part of the reason why you experience what you're experiencing.
Yes. I love that you talk about this because I talk about it all the time, like your lymphatic system, the flow of your your water, the fluid inside of you is so important. And when that's stagnant, you're stagnant. You're going to feel stagnant. Your body's going to look like, just worn down. And it's just, man, once you get that water going inside of your body and even structured and formed correctly, you feel completely different and totally connected.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So speaking about health, Jason, we touched on this too at the very, beginning, before we got on here. And what do you think, what do you think about how the health system is kind of manipulating people these days?
I totally forgot to add one thing to close up what we just said.
Uh-huh.
What you're looking at on the screen are positive affirmations.
Oh,
that's what that is. It looks like a code, but they're actual positive affirmations encoded in a different font, and that's what you're synchronizing with. So just to finish that up, but let's go into your question. Can you ask it one more time?
Yeah. So health. Let's dip a little bit into health, and what do you think that the biggest scam in the medical system these days is?
There are so many.
I know.
There are so many. I think the biggest scam, big picture, without zooming into one detail over another, is the fact that we've been trained to think as human beings that there is something outside of you that can heal you. So take the pill, it's going to help you. Take this, it's going to help you. And by the way, the pill may help you, but the pill is not healing you. If the pill helps you for whatever that thing is, it's because the pill is helping facilitate a system in the body to move in a more coherent way so your body can do what it does best and heal itself. Now, the reason why that's so important is because if we focus or rely on things outside of us to heal ourselves, we're going to keep being sick over and over and over again. Because all we're really doing is, number one, thinking that there's something outside of us that can heal us that can't. We're negating and forgetting the fact that we are the ones that heal ourselves. And that's not to say that a vitamin D supplement can't help you. That's not to say that vitamin C can't help you. That's not to say that even sometimes certain drugs in certain cases can't help you. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is we got to remember the root of it all. Now, we don't live in a natural world anymore. And when you don't live in a natural world, sometimes you have to take precautions that are not natural as well. Mm-hmm. Until we can fix the world that we're in, we're going to have to do things that may not make the most sense, all the way to taking a vitamin D supplement. Think about it. It doesn't make sense. But when Bill Gates is spraying your sky and you don't have as much sun, or we're wearing contacts like myself, your eyes are a massive, I'll call it a portal, not to sound all weird, but your eyes are what literal sunlight goes through to generate vitamin D in your body. When we wear contacts like myself, because I don't want to wear glasses, it's more convenient, but when we wear contacts, people like me will have lower vitamin D levels. Now, that's on top of the fact that most people don't live where human beings are meant to live. We're supposed to live closer to the equator where seasons aren't as crazy, because that just makes sense. But when you live in somewhere like, New York, or if you go to like Iceland or Norway, you're going to have very, very low vitamin D levels and probably be sicker. Although in this world, Norway, you'll probably be healthier, because while you'll be sicker on the things that you don't get, you're going to be healthier on the fact that your air is cleaner.
Yes.
So there's so much going on, but I think people got to remember that your body is the best technology out there. Your body creates its own perfect medicine. And I'm not saying be a fanatic and, only go Eastern, never go Western. There is a time for Western medicine. There is a time for antibiotics. There is a time to nuke the body, but that is called a last resort. If it's between nuking the body or death, nuke the body.
Yes.
Definitely nuke the body, but don't do that as the first thing.
No, yes. Same page. Literally. Same page. I refuse to take an antibiotic if I'm literally not dying. I'm just,
I had a staph infection. It almost killed me. I was in the hospital for 10 days. You need antibiotics. Yes. Fine. That saved my life.
Yes.
But if you're dealing with like a little thing, don't go and take antibiotics. Like have lemon and ginger.
Thank you. I mean, they just dish them out like they're candy for little rashes, for little, I was given so many antibiotics when I was younger. It tore me up. I'm still dealing with gut issues to this day, tears you up.
Yeah, it does. It does. And you got to do a lot of correction to that, to fix that, with proper probiotics, proper food, staying away from certain things. Again, there is a time to use it, but we don't use it at the right times anymore as human beings.
Right, right. What do you think that the number one medical truth that they're hiding is?
It's going to sound crazy.
No, nothing sounds crazy on my channel.
I mean this 100%. I've done it myself. I've seen it help cancer patients. And it's something that we've been taught is very dangerous and very toxic, and it's not true. That thing is called urine therapy.
Oh, you do it. Do you do it?
All the time.
Oh, really? Okay. So I saw this woman on Instagram literally yesterday. So it's crazy you bring this up. She did it. So she had dark pee that she was getting stem cells. I know you get stem cells and everything. So you let it ferment basically. And then she had her pee that she just peed and she just drank it online. And I was like, wow. I mean, I've heard of it. I've never done it.
So I want to explain that to some people that, again, buy the story that we've all been sold. It's dangerous. It's toxic. That's why it's coming out of your body. That is not true. So urine, before it's urine, it is blood. Blood then goes through your kidneys, and then it turns to urine. So blood, filter in the kidney, ends up in your bladder, then you pee it out. But here's what's interesting. Your bladder is what they call a permeable sac. That means that, have you ever had the feeling where you had to pee and then it went away?
Yeah.
Okay. That's because your body is dynamic. So what that means is, right now, I may not need this hormone or this enzyme or this water or this urea. So my body filters out not just what's toxic. There's a piece of that there, which I'll explain in a moment. It doesn't just filter out what's bad. That's not what it's doing. It's filtering out what you don't need, because the body is a dynamic and efficient system. So if you don't need this hormone or this enzyme, it then filters it through the kidney, puts it in your bladder, and then you pee it out. But sometimes you have to pee, and then sometimes it goes away. When it goes away, that's a sign that your body then took it back from the bladder because it's still there. And that's the easiest way to get the hormone, the enzyme, the mineral, the water, the urea. So it then takes it back, and that's what a permeable sac is. If it was all toxic, the body wouldn't have a mechanism to reabsorb it. So it's not all toxic. It's majority water, second majority urea, which, by the way, is what they use in the most expensive cosmetic products out there. That's what you're putting on your face to clean your face, because it's very good for acne, and it penetrates the deepest levels of your skin to clean it. That's also why urine is very good for jellyfish things. There's no drug in the world that can fix a jellyfish thing faster than urine. And it's because urine, the second it touches something, it will soak the toxins out rapidly. So when it comes to urine, on the toxic aspect of it, is there a level of toxicity? Yeah. And guess what? It's the perfect level to create antibodies when you re-ingest it. That is what a vaccine is. A vaccine in ideology is a great thing, maybe not in practice, but a vaccine in theory is a great thing. It's saying there's this disease, they call it an antigen. You take the antigen, you then heat it up and take a weaker version of it. So when we re-inject it into the body is then able to fight it off, create antibodies, and now you're immune. That logic makes sense. The application is where the problem is. The problem is there's a lot of other things other than the antigen. They're not putting it through your mouth, they're injecting it. Your tonsils are the most important thing in your body when it comes to creating antibodies. And that's why your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your mouth, anything that goes in there will eventually touch your tonsils. Your tonsils will create those antibodies, but there's another way to do it. Urine is a vaccine, because urine is a heated up, minute version of the antigen that you're dealing with. And when you re-ingest it, you've just taken your body's own perfect medicine, a laboratory that it created for you, not one size fits all, to then recreate the antibodies for the problem. So the best time To do something like drinking your own urine is when you have an allergic reaction or when you're sick. And I've done it many times throughout my life, and within 1 to 2 hours, it is gone.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty
What?
cool.
Okay, wait. So did you ever get the global sickness? Did you ever get that?
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times. Did you do that when you got that?
Yeah.
And it worked? Like you were fine?
Mhm. I felt like garbage, like I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste. Had
Yeah.
all those things. Cool, whatever, go to sleep. By the way, some people die from that too. Not
Yeah.
different than the other global thing that happens every year.
Yeah.
So are there going to be people that die sometimes? Yes. That doesn't mean you go and shut down the world.
No.
It just means you take certain precautions. And again, we can go on and on this topic forever, but it just doesn't make sense how we're going about things. And we're dealing with symptoms as opposed to fixing the environment in the first place. Because if you have a strong environment, you can get whatever you want. You're going to get over it.
Yes. Yes. Very true. So what about fermenting it? Do you do that? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of?
Yeah, it's great, but it's gross. Like if you take urine right now and put it on your face, you will not smell. Even if it smells, it will absorb into your skin in 4 to 5 minutes. Nobody will know it's on you. It's over. When you aging it creates a much stronger effect in terms of what it can do with stem cells and enzymes and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it reeks. It's disgusting. It's very powerful. I would only do it if I need to.
Gotcha. Yes, I interviewed this woman who drinks her own moon blood and urine and then puts it all over her body and she ferments it and she, but her skin like flawless. I was looking at her. I'm like, wow, you don't have any wrinkles like anywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff.
God. Wow. Okay. So let's get even weirder, Jason. I mean, I'm sorry. I've heard about this, Jason, but I just can't bring myself to do it. But maybe one of these days, you never know. You just never know.
It's not bad.
Okay. I'm sorry. I heard about this literally like 2 years ago. And I was like, what are they talking about? I never researched it because I was too scared. But
there's a book called Your Own Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie. Shows you all the studies that were done, studies from NYU on this stuff. They just
really?
Yeah, it's all there.
Oh man. See, they hide all the good stuff. They just don't, because they need us to keep coming back for the pills because they want to keep us between sick and healthy to be able to pay them every month.
Let me share a little secret with you that's very interesting. And you can look this up yourself along with all your viewers. There's a company called Porta Johns. Porta Johns is the biggest porta potty company in the United States of America.
Uh-huh.
They have a subsidiary company called Enzymes of America. When I say they, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical industry.
Uh-huh.
The pharmaceutical industry needs enzymes to be able to create certain drugs and put them in the drug. So one of the biggest companies, I think it's Roche Pharmaceuticals, if I'm not mistaken, but one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies owns Enzymes of America. You know where Enzymes of America gets their enzymes from? They have a contract with Porta Johns. Porta Johns gathers all the pee. They then put it through a process to get and isolate the enzyme, one being urokinase. They then take that urokinase, understanding that it's something that occurs naturally in nature. You cannot patent something that occurs naturally in nature. So what do you have to do? You need to do something synthetic to the formula to be able to patent it.
Yes.
So a pharmaceutical company can't just take urokinase and patent it. You're not allowed to do that. So they take urokinase, they then mix it with a bunch of synthetic garbage. And that's the drug that they're giving you. And they're basically selling you your own urine back to yourself, only under the disguise of a patented drug. So they're allowed to do it. There's nothing illegal about it, but people don't know this. So they take the drug. The only reason that drug works is because of the thing that was natural in the first place. But if they allowed you as a human being to understand what I just said, then people would have free medicine. And they can't have that because they would go out of business.
Yes. Everything in nature heals. And then the pharmaceutical companies will take it, change one molecule so they can patent it and then stamp it as a drug. But it's already found in nature.
Yep.
Oh, it's all manipulation. I swear to God. See, Jason, I'm so sorry about your dad. My dad passed away at 62 from knee surgery.
Whoa. So my dad passed away at 62 from a tracheotomy that they put in the wrong way.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, this is what okay. I think this is why I have went on. I mean, he died when I was 19 years old, almost 20 years ago, you know? So I went on this whole thing. I think this is why the trajectory of my life is kind of, you know, outside of that type of medicine. I mean, if you're bleeding to death or literally almost on your deathbed, you got to go to, you know, the doctor. But outside of that, it's like,
they're great for emergencies. And by the way, I just experienced this with our dog. We just got a dog. She got sick. We didn't know what was going on. And it's like, they had no idea what was going on. Now, we really had to go because she couldn't breathe and it's an emergency.
yeah.
But beyond that, like, I'm there every day in the hospital. I'm talking to the doctors, asking them questions. They're like, oh, what kind of doctor are you? I'm like, I'm not, buddy. But the fact that I know more than you is very, very scary.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I always try to teach people. It's like, you should not let anyone outside of you know more about you than you know about you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I haven't gone to the doctor and I can't even remember how many years at this point. And I've not gotten sick. You know what I'm saying? It's because I look into all the things that can prevent
100%. 100%. That's what it's about. That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Do you think that they're trying to poison us through our food, water, and, you know, the things that we ingest?
Well, if you were a psychopath that wanted to control the world and there was only a few of you and a lot of us,
Yes.
you would need to numb the world in terms of not enslaving them, but having them enslave themselves. And that's exactly what we're doing. So it's not just through food and water. So yeah, food has toxins, changes hormonal levels, changes in some cases your DNA, because that's what they're putting in the food now. Changes a lot and also numbs you down and makes you less clear. When you're less clear, you're not as empowered. When you're not as empowered, you're easier to control. So that's food. Then you got water, you got chlorine, you got fluoride, you got all this other garbage that's in the water. People are wondering why it takes them 10 minutes to think about the answer to that question. They're like, you know, their eyes are open without anything behind it. And it's because they're poisoned. Not to mention, on top of that, you then have the control of information. And the control of information is one of the last strands in the equation, because now we're dumbing people down. All these people don't know what to do. And then we're telling them, hey, we're the experts, do this. Everybody's going to listen, because when the average American, at least, has 3 jobs, the average American is divorced after getting married. The average American has, you know, let's say 1, 2, 3 kids, and they need to support those kids. All they have to think about is, where is my next paycheck coming from? Not, how do I deal with this medical issue? Because that's what the doctor is for. Now, the doctor goes to school that most people don't know this, but take the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation gave the medical curriculum to the medical schools around the world. They're also behind the drugs that those doctors are going to give. And they're also behind what's called the physician's desk reference, a dictionary of drug dealing for doctors. They're also behind where the doctor got their loan from to be able to have student debt to go to school. So the doctor, without even knowing it, got a loan from the same person that told him what he's going to learn in school, that told him what drugs he's going to give, that told him, here are the drugs to give, and that's giving him a kickback every single time he gives the drug. And by the way, those same people have a deal with Congress of, hey, you're going to mandate these drugs, but we can't get sued for it. And they passed that act too. So you're talking about a master genius, brilliant machine that is doing a lot of damage to a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Jason, let me tell you a quick story. When I was, I was 25, new baby, right? Newborn baby. My son's dad was locked up. Okay. All by myself. Like, I was the average American. You know, I had 3 jobs. I was going to school. It was like, you know, I was so stressed. I went to the doctor. I'm like, I'm so stressed. I can't sleep. I have no energy. I'm doing all these things. He's like, oh, well, you know what that sounds to me? I was like, what? He's like, some Adderall. So I'm going to give you some Adderall. And guess what? It's going to keep you skinny too. You'll look good. And then, by the way, let me give you some Xanax so you can make sure that you get to sleep at night. Do you know that I was on those drugs for like 5 years, like 4 or 5 years? It got me hooked. I was hooked. The biggest drug dealers, you know, in this country. And then, but we have a war on drugs. But we're trying to put children on drugs because they can't sit down, shut up, and pay attention when all they want is just to be creative and expressive.
It's not a war on drugs. It's a war on who's going to sell the drugs.
Boom. Exactly. so twisted. How would you even suggest people get out of this whole circle of just toxicity? You know, I mean, how can people just kind of, you know, how can we change things?
Education. You need education. You need knowledge, and you don't need to be an expert to figure it out. You really don't. You do not need to go to school for 10 years to listen. I'm 28. I was partying my butt off till I was 21. I didn't have that much time to figure out what I know today. And I'm learning it. And I'm no expert, right? But I'm an expert in my own way for what I do for myself. And it works. It works so good that when I go to the hospital for the dogs and they're doing a PCR test on the dog and saying she has this and this and this and this and this, one of them being COVID, I looked at them and I laughed and I said, "What's the cycle count on your PCR test?" They said, "What's a cycle count?" I said, "You should be ashamed of yourself." But anyways, what's the cycle count? So we found out, we started looking into it. Their cycle count was 40 to 45. Any cycle count above 35 is irrelevant because you're just magnifying it to a point where I could show you that you have anything. So most of those things were false positives, but they don't know that. So they're treating her for diseases that they think is going to kill her tomorrow, when in reality, she just had pneumonia. But they're like, no, she has parvo, she had bordetella, she has coronavirus, she has pneumovirus. I'm like, dude, she won't, she's 2 pounds. She would be dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense what you're saying. So they started, even yesterday, we put her in a lot of oxygen, an oxygen chamber. And yesterday they started weaning her off the oxygen to get back to breathing normally. And I said, okay, I'm glad for that. But I want you to pump her with as much oxygen as you can from yesterday up until today. Because even though she doesn't need it, it's going to help her heal. That's what oxygen does. Pump the hell out of her with oxygen, keep her in the chamber. I'll see you guys tomorrow. She's doing much better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. I mean, everybody should have access to this type of, this is real medicine. You know, this is real healing. I mean, so many of us have all these brain injuries that we don't even know about that a hyperbaric oxygen chamber could fix just like that.
100%. And what people don't understand about oxygen, why I'm saying it's very simple. No oxygen, bad. Oxygen, good. 1 + 1 = 2. Now, if you want to get into the science, in terms of levels, you could use a pulse oximeter and you'll see your oxygen level with where you're at. There was a doctor, his name is Dr. Otto Warburg, 100 years ago. He won the Nobel Prize for proving the following. When you deprive a single cell of 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours, that cell becomes cancerous. Now, what that means in translation is when you deprive yourself and your cells of not much, not everything, but 35% of oxygen for a period of just 2 days, your cells start becoming cancerous. Cancer can only live in an environment that has little oxygen. Cancer cannot live in an environment that is oxygen rich. So what's the answer? Chemo or oxygen therapy?
See, and I know this to be true because there's a facility that I live right close to that they have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber and have a client that was almost on their deathbed from cancer. And now they're just fine, in remission.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. It's so simple and we've made it so difficult, and it doesn't need to be difficult.
Yes, exactly. Well, because they pump fear into us. Do you think that's the weapon being used to control humanity? Fear?
It was used on me just the other day with the dog. They said, if we don't do this, she has a 50% chance of dying. So I said, do whatever the hell you want to do. I didn't know. Then it was like in the moment, right? There's nothing you can do. You have a little 2-pound toy poodle sitting in your hands, gasping for air. We're like, what are you going to say? Do whatever you got to do. Then I took 24 hours and we started looking deeper and deeper and deeper and understanding it. And then I could take more control of the situation. Now, in my case, even me in the moment, they got in fear and I needed a day to figure out certain things of what to do. For most people, if you don't have the knowledge of what we're doing here and talking about, that fear lasts for a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll run you. It'll run you. Like It's so crazy. Our lives are kind of my dog, my dog, he got attacked by another dog, bit in the neck and it pierced his trachea. So they were all, oh, he needs to have this surgery, he needs to have all these things. I mean, it was gonna cost like $15,000-$20,000 and I had like 7 to spend. So they were like, they ended up fixing him without surgery or anything, but hyperbaric, I mean, boom.
That's the key. Listen, these vets, some of them are disgusting. I was there, they were charging me $5,000 a night. For what? Like, what are you doing?
What?
I didn't have a choice. Nothing I could do.
See.
Until I did the research. I went hospital to hospital. I saw the doctors. I understood what they were doing.
Yeah.
Me and Noah, my fiance, had like a full course in emergency animal hospitals in a period of 24 hours to figure out what to do next. Ridiculous. And I told him, I said, what if somebody doesn't have the money to pay? Like, what do you do? Like, well,
let them it's messed up, man. It's messed up. I remember being there. I was like I think with animals, people have a different feeling towards animals than they do even humans, because it's like, there is no resentment towards a dog or like an animal. You know what I'm saying?
Especially
it's shattering.
Baby, like she's 10 weeks old. She's 2 pounds. She's the cutest thing. Look, this is her. Like, she's the cutest thing in the world.
Oh,
so like, what are you doing? But whatever. We thank God got it taken care of. It was a big learning lesson.
Yeah.
And it just showed me it's not just in humans we got this medical problem. It's in animals too.
Yes. Do you think that, whoever is in charge here, do you think that they're controlling us in other ways other than the medical system, other than the food, water? I mean, what other ways are they kind of, controlling our consciousness?
Music. Music is tuned to a frequency of a harmonic that can actually hurt you. In the United States, the general frequency harmonic for music from big record labels is 440 hertz. That's a distorted frequency. So that's a very big piece of it. Radiation, when it comes to different networks like 5th generational technology, people think 5G is like 5G just stands for 5th generational technology. And by the way, it is faster. It is better, not for you, for the speed of the phone. So there is nothing that we can look at right now around us without it being toxic. It's all broken. And by the way, I don't think it's done by design to a degree, but I don't think all these doctors are evil and all these scientists are evil. I think most people actually, they're really pure. They just don't know certain fundamental laws. So if you build technology without the understanding that 60 gigahertz deprives you of oxygen, then you're going to use 60 gigahertz to make your phone faster while killing people. It doesn't mean you're evil. It means you're not educated.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's literally what they're being taught. There are some doctors that are so good, some people that are so good, but it's just they're so conditioned and it's just, I mean, it's literally trickling down from the very, very top. Do you think that the leaders that are in charge are really the leaders in charge, like the president, or do you think someone's pulling their strings?
I know that they're not in charge. I mean, look at Jacob Rothschild. He's not here with us anymore, but he had a picture with every single president. Why, how, who, and what the hell are you? So the person in charge is the person that has the most money. That's it. That's where it ends. The president does not have the most money. He definitely does not have the most power. And even our current president might be a billionaire, but $3, $4, $10 billion is a drop in the bucket for the people we're talking about. They make Elon Musk look homeless. Talk about really, really wealthy people. It's not just about the level of money they have. It's the control and power they have over different industries.
Yes.
And if you don't do what they say, well, you might not be here tomorrow. That's called a mafia.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I wondered how much faith do you have that things will turn and shift? And what do you think people have to do to change the world?
So there's 2 questions and answers going on at the same time. On one, do you have faith that we will change and we will get to a better place? But I feel that question is asked with the assumption of, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but will we get through this as human beings? And my answer is yes and no. We're definitely going to get to a point of the world being a much better and purer place. but we're also definitely going to have a lot of people dying on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with that. That's a part of life. You die, you come back, you do it again, you learn, you keep evolving. When it's close to home, it's harder because your dad dies, your mom dies. You don't want that to happen. So I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand that human perspective because I'm going through it myself.
Yeah.
It is inevitable for us to get to the point of a pure world once again, because the key word is once again. We weren't always toxic. We created this.
Mm-hmm.
And everything works in cycles. So if we were pure at one point, I don't care when, how, it may be not documented in our current history books, it happened. And if it happened once, it will happen again. How many people need to die for us to learn the lesson to get there? I don't know. How many wipeouts are we going to have before we get there? I don't know. Do we need people to die before we get there? No. Probability? Yes. Because look what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Insane. Speaking of like people and the control, do you believe that there's free energy available to all of us right now that they're just hiding?
I mean, there is free energy. It's in your body right now.
Yes.
Your heart's beating. Where's the battery?
Right.
Right. I haven't eaten. I've been on water for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So is the water energy? If the water is energy, then there's an infinite amount of that here.
Uh-huh.
So you can keep pulling forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, energy will always come from somewhere because it can't be created or destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But if energy is always moving and everything in our life is always moving, then people try to come up with things that are perpetual moving cycles. That is maybe possible. I don't think it is, because even if it's perpetually moving, there's something that's creating that movement, and that something is bound to stop at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really matter because there's infinite things to be able to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
You could pull from wind. You could pull from the movement of water. You can pull from, there are some patents right now of people creating floors that when you walk on it, there are these little generators that, you know, a watch, when you move it, it charges itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's free energy. Okay. So same idea, only it's built into your floor. And when you step on it, it generates electricity. So just by people walking and moving, you're generating electricity. So there's nothing free in this world, but there is a way to tap into an infinite loop of energy.
Yes.
And think about it as like one of those biodomes that are sealed with the fish in there, and there's its own ecosystem. That's free energy, but it still needs sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little misleading statement because nothing is free in the world, but you can tap into an infinite loop.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Jason, what advice would you give my listeners just about life in general? Like, how can they kind of just get out of these manipulation systems? I talk about it all the time. It's so many people are just stuck, because they feel like they have to participate or else they'll lose everything, or else, it's all of these stories that we tell ourselves. But could you give them some advice?
Yeah, I'll give you the same advice my father told me before he passed away. Don't take life so seriously. Worst case, you die. That's literally what he said. He said, don't take life so seriously. Worst case, you die.
Uh-huh.
And what I got from that with my conversation with him, and it's so important, is number one, your emotions are your greatest enemy, but can also be your greatest servants to you if you use them right instead of them using you. And when you take life so seriously, instead of understanding you came here, you're an avatar, you're here to experience certain things, sometimes things you like, sometimes things you don't, but they're all good things because even the bad things teach you something great. If you pull that lesson out of it, when you stop taking life so seriously and you start looking at life as more of a game and you enjoy it, then the things in your life don't need to change because that's not what really matters. What matters is how you respond to the things in your life. And when you respond differently to the things in your life literally changes. Mm-hmm. Another thing on that note is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. If you want the reflection of your life that you call your reality to be a good one, you better make sure that your internal reality reflects that. Because if you try to change that before fixing this, good luck. You're going to be a never-ending loop that will just frustrate the hell out of you. Focus on yourself. because that is how you make this world a better place. It's how you change the world. And by the way, changing somebody else's life is not selfless. It's selfish in the best possible way, because when you change somebody else's life and you impact their life in a positive way, there's a ripple effect to that. And that ripple effect affects the world that you're living in. And guess what? If you get a positive ripple effect, even indirectly to somebody else, it will eventually come back to you, because you just made this world a better place. So don't try to be a guru. Don't try to be a Buddha. Don't try to be a monk, and don't try to be Jesus. Just be yourself. Have fun doing it. Do the best that you can, and enjoy your vices on the way. You want to smoke, smoke. You want to have a joint, have a joint. You want to have the wine, have the wine. You want to eat the garbage. Just do it in balance. And it will come to a point where you won't want it anymore either.
Yes. Freaking all of that. That was like a clip. My God, so freaking good.
Have a good time.
For real. I mean, that's freaking awesome, Jason. What are you, are you working on anything new? Where can people find you?
Yeah. So Unified TV, you can find all of our awesome content over there. On my YouTube channel, I just built out this studio, so I'm going to be a lot more active there as well. And really, my main focus right now is raising awareness for this incredible technology. You can learn more about that at thelightsystems.com in plural. So thelightsystems.com, there are cubes, there are pyramids, a bunch of awesome stuff from small to massive, and they all have different applications. So I'm very excited about the path that we're all on. I'm very honored to be able to bring more awareness to technologies like that and just information like what we're talking about here. And thank you for having me on your show.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jason. You're just a world of information, and just, you tell it like it is. And that's what people, people just got to absorb that and just do it with themselves, just take the masks off and be you. That's what I always say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you. And that was another episode, guys, of Unlimited. Until next time. Peace.
Is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and don't necessarily reflect those of the producers or affiliates. We do not guarantee the accuracy of the content. Please verify information and seek professional advice when needed. By listening, you agree not to hold us liable for any actions taken based on this content. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you enjoy the episodes ahead. Love unlimited, feel unlimited.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I invite you to stay on this journey with me. There is so much more ahead. Courses, mentoring, healing circles, retreats, safe spaces to heal and grow. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and stay connected. We are not alone. In this journey, we're on it together.